Hey guys, Justin Morgan here, and I was just listening to a podcast called The Vegan Truth. Excuse me. They just had their last episode, and it is run by Gabe. I think it's Gabe Smith. I think they have him and his wife have Lori, I think is her name, have a YouTube channel called Easyrawfood, and they put out videos every now and then. And on the podcast, it deals, primarily with veganism and different aspects that we've seen. And I was listening to one where they had Harley Johnstone, the Durianriders, on the show. Very popular YouTube video makers, inspired a lot of people, done a lot of really good stuff for our little movement here. And but one of the things that they were talking about on the podcast was Swayze Foster and a few other people that have gotten into raw foods, and I think in Swayze's case, she lost a lot of weight early on, and she was pretty fit, and then over time she actually started gaining weight, and she gained some weight while following a vegan diet. And I'm not really making any reasons why that is or anything, but the problem that I have with it is that even when Swayze was pretty big, not pretty big, that sounds horrible. Even when Swayze Foster was at the place where she showed pictures where she was big or had gained weight, like I actually still thought she looked pretty good. If you ask me. And I think that really sums up a lot of the people that have gone on a fruit-based diet and they said they gained weight. They still were pretty trim when compared to the average population. I looked at the specific pictures that Swayze Foster had referred to, and I thought, this is a pretty attractive woman. I don't really see where the problem is. But then that was not what Durian Ryder had to say. He's talking about how well, Swayze Foster and this other guy, Adam, something, that had gone on a water fast and then was able to gain weight after that. He was saying maybe he just messed up his metabolism. He was talking about how the body wants to be naturally lean and everybody should be trim like Harley and Freely. And he was saying that maybe they're off sneaking some cheeseburgers or something on the side, and the problem that I see with that is that I have people come to my channel and talk to me about why they'll look at me and be like, well, you're too fat to be a vegan. And one comment that a guy left, he said, I don't see how it's possible for someone to be as fat as you and be a vegan. And I gotta say, that probably pissed me off more than any comment that anybody's left. And I've had some pretty psychotic comments. And I think that, I don't know where people were getting their information from, but I think that some of the things that Durian Ryder says is part of the problem with that. And, I can't speak for anybody else. I don't know what anybody else is doing, but I'm 100% vegan. I have lost friends over people getting angry at my decisions and the things that I say about animal cruelty. I have posted things on my Facebook page that caused people to be upset with me and angry at things that I had said or posted. Even my wife has, and I have had some kind of spouts over aspects of how far I was going with supporting, I guess. I don't want to refer to myself as an activist because I don't really think of myself that way at all. But I guess you could say that as being active in making animal cruelty and eliminating, I guess, animal cruelty. So for somebody to come to my channel and say, hey, I have a hard time believing you're a vegan because you're too fat, it really kind of something is very wrong with our movement if that's where we're headed. If that's where we're going with this, then I got to back out, and I don't want to be associated with Durian Rider or anybody else that has anything to do with a raw fruit-based diet, because we're going in a direction to where I'm not interested in it. I don't want to be associated with it. I don't want to have anything to do with any of you if that's where this is going. Because I mean, if you can get as fat as I am right now, and I don't think I'm fat. I mean, if you ask me what I thought of myself, I think I look pretty awesome. So I guess it depends on your perspective and what you're thinking. But there have been people, nevertheless, that came to me and said, well, just like I said before. So, and then not only that, but we see some, pretty big guys that are in the vegan movement. They're not necessarily high-carb raw vegans, but, Durian Rider in his thing wasn't saying these people are on a high-fat vegan diet or they're, on a high-protein vegan diet. He was just saying that they are sneaking cheeseburgers and that kind of thing. And that seems like the kind of direction and mindset that he seems to be going with, at least in this scenario, or he was on the Vegan Truth and what I've seen him do in other videos. And so we look at guys like Patrick Babomian. Now I'll throw up a few pictures of Patrick. Patrick is one of the strongest men on the planet. He holds multiple world records in strength athletics. And when we think about Patrick, we really want to use him. Like, oh yeah, this is what vegans are capable of. Look at this, vegans are doing this, vegans are doing that. And I've even seen Durian Rider say something like, last I heard, one of the strongest men on the planet was a vegan, and responding to people, saying things. We want to use Patrick Babomian when it's convenient for us. But then if you go by Durian Rider or Harley's definition or some of these other people, well, Patrick can't be a vegan because he's too fat. How could it be impossible to get that fat and be a vegan? So I really think there's just this huge double standard that we see. And I mean, I don't mean to make this sound like I dislike Harley, because I don't. Like I said before, he's done a lot of really good things for our movement, but this is a kind of a area I see us going into, or some people mindset that they're getting, and it's just false, and I think it's going down a bad road. So and Patrick's not the only one. A lot of the really big vegans that I've seen are strength athletes, and they have done different stuff with their weight over time. When I actually I'm actually gained a lot of weight, but I wanted to gain weight, so that was good. I wanted to gain primarily muscle, but if you're really pushing that hard and eating a huge surplus of calories, then chances are you're going to gain some fat too. I mean, I don't really see where that's just that hasn't been my anecdotal experience. You can only take my word for it. I can't prove. I can't give a blood test and say, hey, I have V's all throughout my veins. That doesn't happen. But I am 100% vegan. I don't eat any animal products. I don't wear animal products. I don't purchase things that were used on animal products. So, and I've gained weight even on a fruit-based diet. And I haven't gotten, fat. I haven't been able to get fat. When trying and eating extreme amounts of calories, I couldn't really get fat, but not by my definition anyways, because I don't even call myself fat at all. I think I'm pretty daggone trim, really. But apparently the rest of the world doesn't necessarily see that way. So, I don't even know what to say, really, to conclude this video. It just seems like such a bizarre, out there scenario to me. But if you guys have any thoughts, comments, criticisms, whatever you got to say on it, go ahead and leave it in the description box below. I'd love to hear it. Thanks.